Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm coming at you with a video about these Fortis engineers out of Bandung, Indonesia. Fortis is a brand, a small brand, run out of a guy's house, garage even, by the name of Sani, and a small team of artisans. These are on their Pandawa last, one of his newest lasts, and is in an Indonesian black Teacore leather with a red lining. These are a hand-welted pair of boots with a double row around the 270 degrees, and then 360 single row around the rest of the boot. Yet he's done a good job of making sure that welt does not have a huge spur ledge. These aren't cowboy boots. They're not supposed to have a huge spur ledge. The pattern is called the Yudhishthira engineer boot. It's on their modified Pandawa last, meaning he modified the last slightly to my measurements that I sent in. And I've been wearing these for the 2025 to 2026 Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome. I've worn these almost every single day. I've taken a few days break here and there, 1 or 2 weeks total. I didn't take these on a vacation with me, which I kind of wish I did, but I didn't in favor of my usual vacation pair, a pair of unsung ropers that I've brought to almost every single vacation I've gone on since I've gotten them, so it kind of felt like tradition. But I do wish I brought these as well. These were a full black pair when they started. As you can see, they are not new. They are quite worn in. And these are my first pair of engineer boots. They're in a local Indonesian Teacore, as stated before. And the Teacore, what's interesting about it is that it almost brushes off in certain areas. In fact, it stained the inside of my jeans that I wore for a long time. And every time I'd wash the jeans, it would come out. It wasn't like it stained the jeans permanently or ruined them, but it did stain them. The inside would be stained. It would wash out, but it would really take off, especially on the shaft. I think you can see the red-brown really showing through. These started off as a almost pure black. And I think it's done pretty well in the wear points. I don't work in these a lot, but I walked in snow a lot in my area. And I've gone on my knees picking up stuff, cleaning, light work, wearing these. And I drive, obviously wearing them, and it's gotten actually some decent wear at the heel here, which is interesting, given that I don't drive stick shift, but I do lay my foot down a lot and pivot. So with taller heels, I tend to have my foot more like this, driving. So it hasn't like worn away heavily here, but it's worn more on the actual heel rather than the heel counter. The heel counter wear is actually mostly due to my office chair and the way I sit. I cross my legs. So I didn't notice this at the time, but the buckle, I'll show the other pair in a second, of the boot would kind of dig into the heel. It's kind of funny. But it's just the way the boots wear. It's the way you wear them. So these are handmade in Bandung. The stitching is all done by obviously a machine, but a man doing the machine. And the welting is all done by hand. Hand welting is a pretty straightforward. It's a pretty robust and simple technique in the sense that it doesn't need machines. It doesn't need factories. It needs a skilled artisan who will carve a channel into a leather lasting board, which is usually the insole on hand-welded boots, and then use the leather lasting board to sew by hand into the welt, and then that welt is then sewn into the midsole and the outsole, to my understanding. I'm not a shoemaker. I'm sure there are more detailed differences. I have been learning about, I do know about channeled welts, channeled Goodyear welts, which are different than Goodyear welts because they don't use a gemming, but they're somehow different from hand welting. I want to learn more about the nuanced differences. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. Let me show you the other boot. Here's the other pair. Different wear overall. You can see the black edge has worn down from walking in the snow, because where I live in the northeast of the United States, it snowed a lot this year, which was pretty nice, but that meant trudging through snow, which really wears down and whitens, bleaches almost, the midsole. But it does tend to darken back up. I mean, don't know if the camera will capture it, but here it's already started to darken back up again. Just needs sunlight, you know, conditioning to reseal, and then just wear in sunlight. It's on a Dr. sole, half sole, and heel with nails right at the base. You can see the single row of hand-stitched, hand-sewn, hand welting. And it's a really durable rubber. I'm a big fan of Dr. Sole. Most of my rubber-soled boots at this point are Dr. Sole or Vibram. Mostly Dr. Sole. There's one pair of Day-Night. I really like the feel of Dr. Sole on foot. It's a very hard rubber. It's very long-lasting. I mean, I've worn these a lot, and to be fair, I don't scuff my shoes much, so there's actually not too much wear on the outsole. It's mostly just the pattern has started to smooth out, and even on the heel. I mean, there's wear on the heel, but it's not the most extreme wear. Probably because I don't scuff my feet a lot, but there's still some wear. These have brass hardware that was custom made and requested by Sonny, and I think it's really nice. It's got this good, really, to me, good is subjective, patterning. So I think that'll patina well with more rain. We haven't gotten a lot of rain that I've been caught in. I was caught in one rainstorm wearing these, which is where a lot of the black came off from the shafts as my jeans got damp, and it kind of soaked onto it and sucked out a lot of the dye. It's really interesting. These start at around, at the time of purchase, which was a year ago, these would have cost you in the $500. $550, maybe $600. But that was pre-tariffs and pre-inflation. So I can't give you an accurate estimate on what a current purchase price would be from Sonny. But how you go about it, if you want to know, is you DM him on Instagram, Fortis Boots. You then tell him what you want. You can either send him one of his posts that has the model you like, which is what I did, or you can special request something. I recently asked him for a quote on how a pair of Picos boots would come out, and sent him some examples of what I'd like. Not buying a pair, but I just wanted to know what a price would be. He quoted me the price, yada, yada, yada. After you decide to go into the ordering process with him, he sends you an order sheet via the text. You just copy it, put in your notes, fill out the details, sizing, leather, last, outsole, color, and then you send it back to him. Then he will send you 6, I believe, videos, each one numbered with his hands, because he's, you know, it's not an audio-based video. He'll say in the video start with a 1, 2, so you can organize them, because they don't always send in order, of how to properly do your measurements. You can rewind it, slow it down, whatever. That's how you get your sizing down. Then you send him those numbers and a picture of your tracing. You can do this by putting your foot on a piece of paper, tracing it at a 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle with a pen. And what I like to do to make sure he has the right formatting is then you put a scale. You draw a 3-inch line, or centimeter, whatever, in vertical and horizontal, and you include that number. You say this was a 3-inch line this way, a 3-inch line this way, and that will give him the proper scale for when the photo is transferred over to his end. You can just send it via DMs, and then he'll have the right scale, so then you can get your sizing done. Or you can do a stock size. I believe he just has generic lasts so that you don't need to do made to measure / modified, but I went modified. It was my first pair of boots from him, and they fit really well. I'm stunned with how well they fit. But not at first. They came with a foam removable insole, which I removed. Per the advice of my friends who have ordered from Fortis before, take that out. It'll have some nails on the heel, but for most people, it didn't bother them. For me, it started to after a while, so I just glued in my own sock liner. It's not a sock liner, by the way. It is a kiltie that I just glued in place, cut up to try and get the right size in, realized I messed it up a few times, just cemented it in place, but the rest is a leather insole in there. Now, here's the thing. Lead times. Questionable. For me, upon order, completion, and arrival on my doorstep was 2.5 months. But this was pre-tariffs, this was during the summer, and this was right before the Thunderdome. And so I believe that Sony pushed to get these out faster. You know, I'm grateful for that. But I have heard from my friends that some of them have waited a year. Some of them know their pair is finished, and they've yet to have them shipped out yet. Some have had some radio silence. Now, this may happen. In fact, for many of you, this will happen. And you need to understand that this is a small team, and this is part of the risk. If you are not willing to wait and have your order be in limbo, I strongly advise you to not order from an Indonesian maker at small scale like Fortis. Go Sagara, go Bristle Black. Those are larger makers with a website that don't use PayPal. They use, they do, but they don't exclusively use a PayPal invoice. You don't just send them money. You pay an order form and invoice. They have a dedicated customer service team. Their lead times are very regimented, and they have a large team. Sagara specifically, they move quickly, they move effectively, and they have the infrastructure to back timeliness. Fortis does not. And this is something you need to know before ordering. I have seen many people, understandably so, be upset that a pair of Fortis boots has taken them a long time to receive and might not have even fit. That is a risk you're going to have to take if you choose to buy a pair. You don't have to. There are other Indonesian makers with less risky sizing and ordering processes, Sagara, Bristle Black, as an example. But Fortis can work really well. It's worked really well for me, but don't take my history as what will happen for you. I got mine very quickly. Not everybody will. You need to have really good communication with Sony. Be on him. Message him. He gets a lot of messages. He's had a lot to deal with. I heard recently that there was an issue in his factory. I don't know if there was an accident or if there was some sort of delay. I know there's been a lot of unrest in Indonesia lately. And so orders will be behind. That's just a risk you're going to have to acknowledge before you order. And if you're not willing to deal with that, that's okay. Order what's correct for you. Anyways, back onto this. These have an unstructured toe. I know, I'm jumping all over the place. They have an unstructured toe, so this will collapse. And they collapse differently, by the way. That's something to note as well. Engineer boots, unstructured toes in general, will collapse in different ways at different rates. This is my left boot. It has collapsed in a way that I'm not the biggest fan of, but it is what it is. It's collapsed here, doesn't really collapse here, and when I bend the shoe, it doesn't really have a defined toe, and there's a lot more wrinkles. Meanwhile, the right shoe is exactly what I wanted. When it's unstructured, but when I bend it, it actually still maintains a bit of a bump. Right here, a little bit. It still held its form, which allows for really great toe patina, because with it being kind of bumped and propped itself up, I can kneel and rub on it, and it'll get some nice patina. Not as much on this one. It won't be all over the toe. It will mostly just be right on the edge. But it's unstructured. You can get it structured, but it's unstructured. The heel counter is leather. It's not the hardest leather in the world. It's not like a cowboy boot or a P&W, a hardcore cowboy boot, let's be honest, or a P&W boot where that heel counter will protect you from anything within reason. These are softer, much softer, and they don't go as far forward. They just go up to here. So it's a good heel counter, but it's not P&W, all right? Not advertising it as such. Very good patina on these. I'm very excited about them. What else is there? Yeah, I think that's about it. These are great boots. I really like them. Let me properly buckle one of them. There. That's how it looks fully buckled. These were my first engineer boots. I was really encouraged by my friends in the Stitchdown Discord. Shout out Mari, shout out K Van Dev. They have really pushed me to getting engineer boots. They love them. They're very easy to put on and off. They're beautiful. They're interesting. I mean, Almost Vintage Style was a great place of inspiration as well. And I really enjoy a black engineer boot. Now, will I get another pair of engineer boots? I'm not sure. And this is not to diss engineer boots. In fact, I really like this. But I've never had this experience before where I receive a pair of boots in a model I've never had before, and I'm satisfied. I don't really want another pair. Not for a while, at least. I mean, there are financial reasons I don't need to buy another pair right now. But these do the job. They're going to stay black for a while. And if they ever become fully brown, then I have brown engineers. And if I want them black again, I can buy some leather dye and re-dye them black. They're hand welted. They'll last me a long time. I mean, I've worn these for four months straight, right? Something like that. And the outsoles are barely worn. I mean, the last fits me perfectly. I really like this leather. I don't really believe that every leather needs to be the highest quality leather, as long as it's high quality, but not everything has to be a name brand tannery. I like the local Indonesian stuff. It's interesting, it's wild, it's funky, it's cool. You know, it's got good materials behind it. I don't really see myself buying another pair of engineers for a while, because engineers are also expensive. You know, from a stock brand, they start at $600, and from an Indonesian brand, $500. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to put down for a pair of boots. And I think I just really enjoy the one pair I have. I think that's the way I'm going to get the most wear, the most beauty out of them, is wearing the one pair to its fullest. And I think that's a great mindset I've been learning to have. I mean, look at me. I have a lot of pairs of shoes. I love cowboy boots. I love service boots. I love derby shoes. I've got some Chelseas in there that are nice. I've got some boot shoes. I've got a pair of Boondockers I haven't even worn yet, thanks Thunderdome. I even got a pair of Thursday boots from my father this Christmas. Not as a gift, more as a, hey, these didn't fit me. Why don't you wear them? So I think I'm good with my engineers for a while. These are great boots, and I'm really excited to see them age. You know, one of the beautiful things about engineers is that they look better aged than any other pair of shoe, in my opinion. Cowboy boots look really good new. Cowboy boots look good old. Service boots, derbies. But in my opinion, I think engineer boots, for me, don't look the best new, which is why I was always hesitant. They look phenomenal old. And what's the best way to get that look? Wear the hell out of these boots. So, that is my review of the Fortis Ustira engineer boots on a modified Pandala last. Normally it's on the Teacore 2.0, I believe. with a Dr. Soul outsole, red lining, wrote my initials in there, and brass hardware, wearing them for the Stitchdown Patina Thunderdome, hand welted. I give them a solid 8 out of 10. They were exactly what I was expecting them to be. I didn't expect them to be horse butt boots. I didn't expect them to be clinch boots. I didn't expect them to be addict boots. I didn't expect them to be anything other than what they are. Pure Indonesian goodness. And I liked it. I really liked it. So, thanks for listening. I'll be back with another review, hopefully soon. If you have a pair from my inventory that you'd like me to review, shoot me a message in the comments below. I got some cowboy boots I'd like to review soon. Haven't been able to wear them. I don't like wearing them in the snow and the salt, but I've got another pair of Old Speeds, some New Rivers, got some Ken Diamonds, got some other. I got my only pair of Japanese shoes right here. Iron boots, got some old Tacovas up there. Got my Unsungs I'd like to review soon. So let me know what you guys want. I've got ideas if no comments. Thanks, guys.